It took me almost a decade to diagnose and resolve my chronic bloating, gas, and brain fog. I assumed I just needed to cut out a food or two or find that perfect combination of supplements to fix everything. So I spent my 20s in a vicious cycle of gut issues with a cabinet full of barely used supplements. This video is going to discuss the 6 steps that I would do in order if I were starting all over from the beginning. What's up and welcome to the video. I'm Dr. Daniel Ricciardi, gut health expert, licensed pharmacist, fitness enthusiast, and creator of SIBO Shortcut. In this video, we're going to talk digestive issues, how to fix them, what to do. I'm going to share with you in detail the 6 steps in order that I found to be the most helpful. I'm going to explain what they are, what order to do them in, how to do each of them, and then why doing each of them is important. The steps are going to start with the simplest stuff that's going to give you the most bang for your buck and move into the more complicated interventions that should only really be done if the previous steps fail. Without further ado, the 6 steps. Step number 1, switch to eating only unprocessed single ingredient foods. What does this mean? To be very specific, if you were to look at the ingredient label of that food, it would only have one ingredient listed. Obviously, there's certain exceptions that don't matter, such as if there's salt added to it, this is not going to be a factor. There's a lot of nuance to this, but in general, if you follow this rule, pretty hard to go wrong. Single ingredient foods that don't have other added ingredients are king. I'm going to say this again, this may not be necessary for everybody to eat this way, but if you are having digestive issues, you should be open-minded to making some changes in your diet, and this is one that I found to be very beneficial for a lot of people. Single ingredient foods don't have added ingredients such as fillers and gums that can be really hard for some people to digest. That ice cream sandwich that can sit out on the counter all night and not melt might seem pretty cool, but it's products like these that have these thickeners that can be really hard for your body to digest. Take note, if your ice cream doesn't melt, it's a problem. If you ignore the fillers, gums, and thickeners, single ingredient foods are also good because they don't have all these other weird ingredients in them. Weird ingredients where when your immune system sees them, it doesn't know if it's food and it's safe or if it's a chemical and your immune system needs to react, causing you inflammation and a lot of symptoms. It's kind of like if you're at home and you just looked up and all of a sudden there's a stranger there standing in your kitchen. You're probably going to freak out a little bit. I'm sorry for the extreme example, but for a lot of people, this is what your body literally experiences when these weird ingredients enter your intestine and your immune system senses them. Step number 2, address chronic stress. You've probably heard of the fight or flight response, also known as a sympathetic nervous system state. While this can be useful in some situations, such as if you're trying to evade danger, you don't want to be in this nervous system state all the time, especially when you're eating. Intuitively, I feel like people just know this. I talk to people all the time. They say, I've had digestive issues. I've just been really stressed out all the time and I know it's affecting me, but I still feel like this factor gets overlooked a lot of the time, where people are just overly stressed and can't figure out why they're not digesting food well. If you're dealing with chronic stress, you typically have fewer digestive secretions, meaning stomach acid, digestive enzymes, and bile, which are needed to digest food properly. One thing you can do to help improve this while you're eating is focusing on vagus nerve activation, which you can do by taking several deep breaths or something like humming or singing. And you can also prioritize doing by the things that you don't do while you're eating, such as avoiding stressful activities like working, paying bills. You can fill in the blank here with anything else that you do that's stressful. Steps 1 and 2, you could probably interchange these. I could probably switch number 1 with number 2 and vice versa, but they're both really, really important. Step number 3 is eat slower and chew more. Having a busy schedule is probably the toughest factor here. I know for a lot of people, you're trying to eat your food while you're doing your job at the same time. If you have the time though, this is something that can be really beneficial to you. Literally the only reason not to would be if somebody's actively trying to take your food while you're eating. I think the only time I've had an issue with this was either in Boston or in Maine when there were seagulls flying around everywhere and taking people's food. I think I ate really quickly so they wouldn't steal it. But if that's not specifically happening and you have the time, you should be eating slowly and chewing a lot. Chewing is the only part of your digestion that is voluntary, that is 100% in your control. And when you chew well, your stomach acid is able to mix a lot better with the smaller pieces of food. It can actually clear through your stomach quicker into your intestine, making less work for your digestive tract. The longer food sits in your stomach and intestines not digested, the more likely it is to produce gas and cause you digestive symptoms such as bloating. By eating slowly, you're also more likely not to overeat. There's a hormone that gets released in the small intestine. It's called cholecystokinin. It gets released somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes after you start eating. This signals to your brain that you've had enough food and you can stop eating. So theoretically, if you rush through your meal and eat really, really quickly, your body doesn't realize that it's full yet, and therefore you're more likely to just keep eating more and more food. Besides this, chewing slowly and eating slowly just helps you enjoy food more, and hopefully you enjoy it as much as I do. So by chewing each bite longer, you're able to taste the food longer, and why wouldn't you want something that you enjoy doing to last more time? Eating really quickly for no reason just makes no sense. It's kind of like playing around to golf, and after each shot you have to sprint to your ball and hit the next shot. You won't be able to take your time, enjoy the nice scenery as you walk through a park and play golf all day. Step number 4. So we've changed our diet, we've addressed stress, and we've gotten good eating habits down. Now it's time to try digestive support supplements if these things still are not helping you out. Some of these supplements include betaine HCl or apple cider vinegar, digestive enzymes, ox bile, or digestive bitters. I usually prefer trying betaine HCl, apple cider vinegar, and digestive enzymes in the middle of meals. Digestive bitters typically are used 10 to 15 minutes on your tongue before meals, and then ox bile used either with the meal or after eating. Sometimes these digestive support supplements are enough and are able to handle your symptoms, and no other diagnoses or extra help is really needed. Benefiting from these isn't a sign that there's inherently an issue with you, or that your body's broken, or that you have a problem. And for some people, you just need support from these supplements for a certain period of time, and this is not to say that you'll need them for the rest of your life. I'd recommend, if these end up helping you, try using them for 3 to 6 months, and then after that time period, try tapering off, see if you still need them or not. If you do want to try these digestive support supplements or anything similar, you can get 20% off all of these on my full script online dispensary. Click the link in the pinned comment below to begin shopping. And step number 5, if you've done the first 4 steps and still haven't really had any noticeable improvement, now's the time to go to your regular doctor's checkups and get routine labs to rule out any potential serious conditions. And then finally, step number 6, check for other gut issues by doing functional stool testing and SIBO breath testing. One example of a functional stool test is a GI map test, which can check for harmful bacteria, parasites, viruses, H. pylori, and other lab values that look at intestinal health and inflammation. A SIBO breath test is a test that diagnoses SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It's a gut infection that's characterized by having extra bacteria or methanogens that are producing hydrogen sulfide, or methane gas that cause a variety of digestive or even non-digestive symptoms. It's a very common cause of IBS, so if you're somebody that's been diagnosed with IBS and just told to manage it, this may be something to look into. Typically, if you get to this step 6, where you're doing a GI map test or a SIBO breath test, it's likely that you'll have at least 1 or more notable findings on these tests that will point you in the right direction of what you should do next. And if you do have SIBO, check out my online program, SIBO Shortcut, where you'll get all of my top recommendations for SIBO, discounts on all supplements, and individualized support in my private Facebook group. Click the SIBO Shortcut link in the pinned comment below to learn more. That is it for the 6 steps. To summarize them, we have number 1, switch to only single ingredient whole foods. Number 2, address chronic stress. Number 3, eat slower and chew more. Number 4, try digestive support supplements. Number 5, go to your doctor and get routine labs done to rule out potentially serious conditions. And then lastly, number 6, check for other gut issues by doing functional stool testing and SIBO breath testing. That is all for today. If you found the video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel for more related content. I post a new video every Monday and YouTube shorts throughout the week. In the comments below, let me know which of these steps have you tried, which have been helpful, which have been not helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.